everyone, and welcome back to the show. Great to be here with you, ending the week right. We're getting together and we are going over the absolute best of the week. Today, I have for you a book review. Hopefully, you tuned into yesterday's show. If you weren't able to yet, I've got the book review for you today. A brand new stress relief, parasympathetic nervous system inducing tech-based device that I've really been enjoying using over the last 2 weeks. You're going to want to stay tuned for this one, and some new research on gut bacteria and how it may be affecting your chances of getting ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, or potentially even Parkinson's as well. Plus, we have research on why eating late at night may have detrimental effects, almost irreversible effects on your body's ability to create healthy fat versus unhealthy fat in your body. That and so much more coming up on today's show. So once again, thank you for tuning in today. Today's episode 1995. So if you're wondering where any of the research is, the books, the tech, all those great things, head on over to stephencabral.com/1995, and we will definitely have all of the links there, plus the big 3 takeaways for today. All right, first things first, I always give you the updates from the private practice over at Equalife. So Equalife and IHP and really everything we have going on. So basically, when you look at what we do, I had a practice in Boston, 2 practices for many years. That practice in Boston morphed to be a virtual-based practice a couple of years after the podcast started. We get about 50% of people from all over the world and 50% of people from around Boston. And then it slowly started to grow to 80-20 and then 90-10. And at that point, we said, okay, let's really expand this to be a global functional medicine, integrative health-based practice. That's exactly what we did around 2018. I know many of you have been here since the start in 2017. I appreciate you. I truly do. 4 strong years of being able to really deliver what we feel is integrative health at scale. Over 30 countries around the world, we ship at-home labs to protocols, you name it. Well, we are not ones to pat ourselves on the back or try to give ourselves a gold star or anything like that. Far from it. We are a group of people that is simply dedicated to saying, what would I want as a wellness-based client, as someone that's trying to optimize my health, that's trying to get my body into shape, that's trying to live longer. And that's what we do. And we ask that question really every single day, and how can we better serve? And that's the truth. That really is. We have almost 12,000 people now in Cabral support group, a free support group, private Facebook group. We're building out some pretty amazing software that's coming out in the future. And I just wanted to let you know, this will be debuting in early 2022. Yes, I know it's about 6 months away. However, we are working on our anti-aging line, and after about 12 months, a year in development, we are now rolling out the manufacturing, getting started on that for 8 to 10 anti-aging based products with 2 flagship products that I will talk more about in the future. So stay tuned. Big things coming early 2022. I'll certainly be talking about that more towards the end of the year, but I wanted to let you know what's going on behind the scenes. Again, so much coming. Stay tuned for that. And of course, I'll be announcing it right here on the Friday Review podcast. Okay, next up, I have 2 big announcements besides that. The first one is this. For anyone, friends, family, coworkers, acquaintances, I am now giving away the Rain Barrel Effect, the book. It's our 3-year anniversary for free. So you can actually go to stephencabral.com. And you can, at the top of the page, you can literally just click free book. And while those supplies last, while we have the printing, it's completely free. So you just pay shipping and handling. I can't pay the shipping and handling. I mean, it would be great. It would be nice if I was able to do that. I'm not able to pay everybody shipping and handling, but for around $7 or so, literally the cost of what it's going to take to put that in a mailer and ship that out to you, you get the 400-page book completely free. It's my entire de-stress protocol. And it's really how people get unwell and how to get well again. I mean, that's really what it's all about. It's exactly how I practice. It's what I do to this day. 3 years later, this information's just as relevant as it was 3 years ago. And now, what seemed somewhat groundbreaking back then is really being able to be said, okay, yeah, people get this, they understand it. And so now more than ever, I think people are more receptive to it. So that completely free over at stephencabral.com. Feel free to send people that way if you would like. And then this week, I'm happy and I'm excited to share with you, we have our semi-annual sale going on over at Equilife. So you probably heard the intro this week to the show. Hopefully you've been tuning in. But yes, everything at Equilife, which is our global integrative health practice, is up to 25% off store-wide. And every single day, something new, something fun my team is doing. So definitely head on over to Equilife, which is just EQUI.life. That's the fancy website. And you'll be able to see everything that's going on right now. Definitely stock up on your labs or your protocols or your whatever you need while we're offering these great deals, because as you probably could tell by the name, it's happening once every 6 months. All right. So semi-annual sale going on now. Check it out over on Equilife. All right. Podcast recap for the week. Hopefully, like I said, you've been with us, excuse me, all week. But if you haven't, or you want a refresher, episode 1991 was our Motivation and Mindset Monday. That show took you through overcoming your inner Frankenstein. And believe me, we all have that person inside of us. It is those automatic negative thoughts that are running through our head. What do we do about them? How do we overcome them? And all of that and much more inside of that show, as well as awakening your inner Einstein, which is 2 phrases from John Osseroff, who was our podcast guest yesterday on episode 1994. John was one of the hit stars from the movie The Secret about 15 years ago. He was already making a name for himself far before that movie. But that movie, that documentary, was seen by over 500 million people or so, like 500 million people. So his stock, as they say, shot right up after that. We had an amazing interview yesterday. I do hope that you tuned in for that. That was fantastic. I mean, really taking you through. I think I purposely said probably less than 3 minutes of words the whole time. I was just like, John, you go. Teach people what they need to know. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So hopefully you tuned into that, episode 1994. Definitely let John know what you thought about the show. In between those 2 shows, Tuesday and Wednesday, we went over, can intermittent fasting improve mood neurotransmitters? So check that out. We went over 3 neurotransmitters that intermittent fasting may help and how many hours you need in order to get that. And then episode 1993 was, does a high-fat diet and late-night eating cause irreversible weight gain? Some new research on that, so certainly check it out. All right, today's product review of the week is this brand new high-tech looking device called the Cove. All right. So how this works is super simple, super easy. But on the inside of these 2 pieces right here, which are going to go right behind your ears, you have essentially sensors and vibrating pads. And all that we do, I'm going to show you right now, is we clip this over the ears. Okay. So this is going to go towards the back of the ears. They're making contact. And this part in the back is fully adjustable. So you can make it smaller or bigger. I think my head's probably right in between. So I put it on wide and then I just close it nice and tight so that it fits snugly around my head. You can see it right there. Okay. So what I'm doing here is this is clipping right in front of my ears. I've got these pads touching right behind my ear. And you might say to yourself, what is this device and what is it doing? Well, believe it or not, in just 20 minutes, you are able to send vibrations through the back of the skull here, down the vagus nerve to begin to calm the sympathetic nervous system and induce parasympathetic nervous system-based response. But the science is what I'm truly interested in. So when I was looking at this particular product, I said, okay, there's a lot of devices out there that are making big claims in the anti-stress, anti-anxiety based space. This is some of the clinical research from over 3,500 participants. 90% of clinical trial participants felt less stressed using the Cove. 91% improved their sleep and fell asleep faster. 20 minutes, anywhere from 10 to 20 minute sessions. And it's lightweight, it's easy to use. And how I use it, I'm going to share with you exactly how I use it and why I even decided to try this out in the first place. Okay, so I'm using it in 3 ways. So 1, meditation in the morning. So you know that I'm someone that likes to use binaural beats. I like to use red light, or I like to use sauna. I will meditate with multiple modalities. So I am always looking to maximize my time, probably just like you. So what I want to say is, if I'm meditating, because we all know, again, hopefully you listened to John's interview yesterday as well with me, that meditation should be a part of all of our daily schedules. But a lot of people just don't like to sit there and meditate. There's a lot of people like me that love listening to binaural beats or some type of relaxing based music with that meditation. And there's a lot of people who also like to say, well, at the same time, could I be doing anything else with big benefits? Yes, you could be doing sauna. You could be doing red light therapy. I happen to enjoy both of those. Now, how can I get deeper into the parasympathetic? That's what I'm always looking for. Red light, sauna, what else? Binaural beats, what else? Stimulating the vagus nerve to calm my peripheral nervous system is what it's called, right? The periphery. So you can do this by gently, actually, John mentioned this, stroking the skin on the arm. You can, like a light breeze coming over you, all of these things calm the sympathetic nervous system. However, and this is again, so this is the reason why I decided to try this device, because it's an investment just like anything else. We've known for many years that, and this was taught in traditional Chinese medicine, in Tui Na-based massage therapy, which is actually called Chinese physiotherapy because it's used for multiple modalities, just not for massage. If you stimulated, basically it's right near the trigeminal area, right near the skull, behind the ear. If you were to lightly massage that area, like if you've ever gotten that during a massage, it's very calming, it's very relaxing, and that is because it begins to calm the overall vagus nerve. It begins to induce parasympathetic nervous system-based activity. One of the ways that you would start a massage is potentially massaging that area and then waking the person up actually by rubbing the earlobe or rubbing the top of the ear itself. So when I started doing this, I said, okay, the science is there. It makes sense because it's stimulating the right area. I've used bands and I've used all sorts of different things that stimulate the body, but not necessarily exactly where the body needs the stimulus in order to calm that central nervous system or autonomic nervous system. So what I did was I said, okay, I'm going to use this with meditation. And what I found is this. It was able to help me get into a deeper level of meditation, kind of those lower alpha waves. And it enabled me to calm my mind, turn off the thoughts, which is the difficult part during meditation, focus more on my breath, and then I got to play around a little bit with the vibration. So inside of the app, you can basically go from a 1 to a 10 on vibration. What I found was this. During a quiet meditation or just some very light binaural beats, I like it around a 3 or a 4 in terms of the vibrational intensity. If I'm doing work, light email or research, and I want to put this on during the day, which is actually what I just did before recording this show during lunchtime, is I put it on around a 6 to 7. For me, I don't like it any stronger than a 7 because then I'm more focused on the vibration than I am anything else. I'll tell you this though, if you're only going to use it once during the day, I recommend twice, but if you're only going to use it once during the day, I recommend it about 30 minutes or so before bed. And it's going to allow you then to calm that body to a greater degree. Now, the nice thing is you don't need to do anything. You can actually just wear this while reading. Wear this while getting ready for bed. Now, if you can do even just a 10-minute meditation while wearing the Cove, that's the best of all worlds. Because now you're getting automatic stimulation. You don't need to do it. Plus, you're getting you calming the sensory, which means calming what's going into the ears, calming what's going into the eyes. So there's less stimulation. If there's less stimulation, then you're automatically going to move more towards that parasympathetic nervous system. So I can definitely give a high score review for this. I always ask myself, is this something that I see myself continuing to do 6 months from now, 8 months from now? And the answer is yes. I'm going to add this to my red light routine or sauna routine along with the binaural beats. So basically I'm getting 3 inputs: sound, binaural beats, vibration from the Cove, and then I'm getting the parasympathetic inducer, which would be the sauna or the red light, or even both. So again, happy to answer questions on this. I don't know if we're going to be able to supply a discount code. Of course, I would love to be able to do that for you. The way that you will find out is just by heading over to stevencabral.com/1995. We're going to reach out to the company. If they're able to, of course, then of course they are going to give us a code just for our customers. All right, but again, like I said, comfortable, lightweight, futuristic for sure looking. I actually have a couple of flights coming up, so I'm going to be using this on the flight as well. And I'm sure it will elicit a few conversations, but definitely can recommend it. So check it out. I will link up their website. I'm going to link up all their science and their research as well. And I'll let you check it out from there. All right, and I'm going to keep it on actually. And our book review for the week is Innercise. Again, hopefully you checked out John Osseroff's interview yesterday. This is his latest book called Innercise, The New Science to Unlock Your Brain's Hidden Power. I read this book. I only read it about 6 months ago. It was kind of a new to me. Like I didn't know that he had written this book as well. This is something that I've enjoyed reading and especially enjoyed going back to, beginning with page 209. So 209, for the next 30 pages of the book, 40 pages of the book, John takes you through specific exercises to be able to better visualize, believe, and then achieve any goal you set for yourself. So it has to do with breathing. Again, why? Calming the sympathetic nervous system, telling your body it's okay. That's really what it's all about. If you're talking about, hey, how do I increase lifespan? How do I improve overall health? You have to reduce stress hormones. It's so important as we get into aging. So again, great book. You'll probably hear about a lot of it yesterday. I do hope you tuned into that. But if you don't want to read, or I should say, if you don't want to tune into yesterday's podcast, but you want to read in depth, check it out. I'll link it up. It's called Innercise by John Osseroff. All right. Now for the research for the day, we are getting into our first one, which is, I felt this was so important. I had to reiterate it before I get to my last research study for the day. All right. A lot of people say, well, you either have the genetic susceptibility or you don't for something like Lou Gehrig's disease or Parkinson's or Alzheimer's or whatever it might be. And to you, I say you're exactly correct. Yes, you have genetic susceptibility to Alzheimer's. You have a genetic susceptibility to Lou Gehrig's, genetic susceptibility to Parkinson's. You have genetic susceptibility to anything that could go wrong with your body. So this isn't anything new. Could be the gene for breast cancer, for prostate cancer, for cardiovascular issues, like so many issues, right? Weight gain, you name it. But it goes deeper. And again, this is so important for us to begin to look at it. Our body, and I'm going to link the two research studies here together, even though they're separate. Our body has to maintain a state of equilibrium. If it does not maintain a state of equilibrium, that is when genetic susceptibility comes to the forefront, and it happens by overflowing your rain barrel. So 2 days ago, in episode 1993, I went over what happens when you're eating when it's dark out. I'm not talking about a gloomy, rainy day. I'm talking about what happens when you're eating at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. This goes for alcohol or food. What happens is this: the body becomes imbalanced, that it has to compensate to a greater degree, and that you actually can begin to create fatty liver and visceral body fat, as well as fat beginning to develop in places that it shouldn't. If we're developing this type of really negative forms of fat, what happens is we are more susceptible then to inflammation. If we are more susceptible to inflammation, we increase cardiovascular risk, stroke and high blood pressure, diabetes, and cancer, the 4 leading causes of disease. Besides that, we then allow for our rain barrel to overflow, and then lo and behold, our diseases that we get diagnosed with that comes from our genetic susceptibility. So let's get into the, so that's the first research study. Be careful not to eat when it's dark out, meaning like after 7 o'clock or so at night, and let's say before 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. All right. The second part is this new research study. This is out of Harvard University in Boston, right down the road from me, published in Nature. I'm going to read it to you exact, and then I'll link it up, of course, today at episode 1995 if you want to do a little bit more research. In recent years, medical researchers have established a connection between gut health and neurological conditions such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Now, they have uncovered a similar connection regarding amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. I apologize about mispronouncing that. It's ALS. It's Lou Gehrig's disease. Comparing two populations of laboratory mice that both had genetic mutations making them vulnerable to ALS, scientists found that ALS development was associated with a mix of bacteria in the gut and that the inflammation was associated with ALS could be reduced through the use of antibiotics and fecal transplants from mice with healthy gut biomes. Okay, let me break this down. This is really important. Essentially, what they found was there are people that are genetically susceptible. We put the gene inside of a mouse, because again, we're doing mice studies before human studies. That's how good research works, because you don't want to experiment on humans. It's obviously, there's ethics to that as well. So what they found was that genetic susceptibility or not, disease or not, if you change the gut microbiome, reduce certain negative forms of bacteria, repopulate it with healthy forms of bacteria, you were able to potentially stave off ALS. Which is why I'm always saying, because people are always emailing in, can you treat ALS? Can you treat Parkinson's? Can you treat autoimmune issues? Can you treat this? Listen, there's no treating those things. You don't treat them, okay? We have to stop believing in these names of diseases that we've come up with. Right? We know who Lou Gehrig was. Many people do. Yeah, it's not a disease. It's a human, okay? There is a rain barrel effect. There's heavy metals, there's viruses, there's food sensitivities, there's stress hormones, there's gut bacteria. There's a lot of things that overflow that rain barrel. If you have improper gut bacteria, it could lead to then ALS. But what if you didn't have imbalanced gut bacteria? Would you get ALS? These studies are showing potentially not. And if we're able to understand that, which we are, could we then prevent this from happening in the future? I believe so. So would I use antibiotics and then would I use fecal transplants? No, I would not. I would look at running something like the bacteria and parasite stool test. I would do something like citricidal and the CBO protocol. But again, these are not treatment protocols. I'm not giving you medical advice or treatment protocols. And then I would repopulate with healthy bacteria. Now, of course, conventional medicine, they use antibiotics. Why? It's prescription, right? It's a prescription drug you bill insurance with. Why would they do fecal implants? It's prescription, right? It's literally covered by insurance. The other things are not. So again, I will let you do what you feel you should in the best means that you believe that you should do as well. I'm not canceling out conventional medicine. Of course, I'm not doing that. But I simply want to give you alternatives as well for you to be able to make the best educated and best decision for you and your family. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, we've got so much on the horizon in terms of being able to help people heal. I'll always bring you the latest and greatest. If this podcast was helpful, again, let's spread the word. Please do feel free to share this show with anyone you believe it could serve. And I will link everything up today, the research, the books, this nice Cove device over at stephencabral.com/1995. Take care, everyone. And I'll talk with you tomorrow on our first Cabral House call of the weekend.